HotMamaTravel!
Hello Hot Fam and welcome back to the channel, HotMamaTravel. Today we are going to be discussing some of our favorite haunted places that we have visited on the West Coast, as we kind of tend to seek out historical locations and usually places with history. Also come with a few ghost stories, which we don't mind. We like everybody, so dead and alive.
We like spirits and we like live music.
We like spirits and live music.
They said that this is a very active place, and I love active.
We're going to break it up today since there's a lot of places. We're going to do part one, which is going to be our five, maybe six. We might throw in a bonus one at the end of our favorite places here on the West Coast. Our number one has to be, for many reasons, but it happens to also be haunted, is Old Town San Diego. A little brief history on Old Town San Diego. It was established in 1769. It's one of the oldest settlements there in California, and it's considered the birthplace of California as we know it today. So it's very historical, and as far as California history...
Yeah, San Diego was the first city in around the early 1800s. Mexico actually won it away from Spain in their Mexican Independence War. And then in 1848, Mexico and the United States of America had a war called the Mexican-American War, and America basically took over
Alta California.
Alta California, and San Diego became a part of the U.S.
So one of the reasons we also love Old Town San Diego is because of its deep-rooted Mexican culture, and it just feels like such a wonderful, exciting, bustling, lively place. So despite it being haunted, it is very lively, and we can see why baby spirits want to hang around still. The whole town, as we said, is very old. So a lot of the places are haunted. There's, I guess you could say, haunted. There's a lot of spirit sightings or paranormal activity throughout the whole city. And you can do a ghost walk, which we actually participated in for the first time this past October, which you can see on our channel. We are officially started our ghost walk. Stay tuned.
There's also like haunted masks there that look like they're like ghost and skeleton things. I got one of the masks, and I would like to show you if they will let me.
So the masks that Kevin's talking about, they are actually the luchador, right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
The luchador
My
masks.
face is too big. It can't
Mexican wrestling. So the first haunted place in Old Town San Diego that we love to visit is the Whaley House.
And it's not just us, because it's been designated as one of the most haunted places in the world by lots of different
my favorite
groups out there.
Yeah, it's actually Keely's favorite. Even since she was little, she's always been really drawn to that house. It's a really nice house. It was built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley. It's once a family home, and it was also used by the Whaley family to run a number of their businesses. It was used as the first public theater in San Diego.
Courthouse.
It was a courthouse, a general store.
It was like this, like a
the hub.
It's a neat little museum too, because they decorate the rooms as though
kept it like.
And it doesn't cost too much to do a little tour.
No, it's very
see for yourself.
Like
and you can take photos in there, right?
You can take photos, which we will insert some of our photos, but you cannot take video.
We have orbs in some pictures. That
we do have orbs. We do collect orbs in our picture.
Or dust.
Or light reflecting off dust. Before the house was built, that site was also used as a gallows, and there was a man by the name of Yankee Jim who was hung on the property for theft and larceny. Actually, Thomas Whaley was a witness at that execution and still decided, I'm going to build my house on this property anyway. So that is one of the ghosts that is said to haunt the Whaley House. But there's also been a number of other spirits seen, including Thomas Whaley himself.
His daughter.
His daughter, Violet, sadly, had committed suicide in the home in 1885. We've been there a number of times, and I can't say I've been overwhelmed by the paranormal activity. But my daughter has had a couple experiences.
So the first experience was that, so there's these windows at the back of the house, and I thought that the staff was up there, maybe trying to clean the house or something, and I saw a girl. Did anyone have a paranormal experience here? And I told him about the girl in the window, and he's like, yeah, I've seen her too. No one's allowed up there. No one's allowed up in that window, so that couldn't have been staff.
I saw a ghost in one of the right windows in the back of the Whaley House. And I asked the tour guide, are people allowed into the lace windows? And he said, no. And I said, oh, well, I saw someone in those windows. And he said, was it in the right window? And I was like, yeah. And he said, I've seen her too. Confirmed.
Every time I went near that house, I felt cold, and every time I looked at that house, I saw a little bit of breeze going around it.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes. Yes.
Do you believe there's ghosts in the Whaley House?
Yes. Yeah, there's ghosts everywhere around you.
Well, my theory is that we're just too loud of a group that I don't even think the ghosts.
Oh,
We
yeah.
scared
I
them
went with
away.
my Girl Scouts.
Her pitch is so high that even the ghosts refuse to haunt us.
Yeah, they're not going to haunt.
They're scared of her.
So number 2 is going to be the Cosmopolitan Hotel. This is also located in Old Town San Diego, right smack dab in the middle of it and where the park is. This is actually the location of one of the oldest buildings in all of San Diego. In 1827, Juan Bandini built an adobe house on the location. In the late 1800s, they built the Cosmopolitan Hotel in a Greek Revival style.
Right. It was a family home for a long time, and a happy family home. I guess it was the site of a lot of parties. There's not any terrible history associated with the building, except that it just has a long history.
The whole second floor still has the veranda that spans the entire floor, and they have original wood, and they have original door frames and other sort of finishings, and they have old antiques throughout the lobby.
It's really pretty.
And the saloon is really cool because you feel like you've stepped back in time to an old timey Old West saloon. It's pretty cool, and it feels kind of haunted when you're in there. It feels like you're in another place.
It feels like you've stepped back in time.
It's really cool.
We did a ghost walk, and the gentleman that hosted the ghost walk claimed that he's had the most paranormal experiences at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. So they did invite our kids, since they were the only kids on the tour, as usual, to come and stand behind the saloon bar so that maybe that would stir up some kind of paranormal activity that the adults on the tour could take pictures of or document in some way. What about you guys? Did you guys feel anything when you guys were standing behind the bar? Did you?
Every time I go near somewhere haunted, I always feel cold. I don't know if ghosts attract me or something. But
you are cute. Some of the haunted documented stories of the Cosmopolitan Hotel include the room 11 is supposed to have a lot of activity, and the room 4/5. There's a lady in red that's been seen up there.
Oh yeah, the lady in red.
I heard that she's, pretty fun and spunky, so nothing to worry about. So one night when we were walking past the Cosmopolitan Hotel to our hotel, I looked up, and there was nobody out this night. It was very late by the time we were walking back to our hotel. And as I look up, I see a man on the balcony in period-looking clothes, like a duster and a cowboy hat. And I kind of stared for a long time, and then as I was walking past, I thought it was just a person that wanted to, maybe dress authentically for their day in San Diego. And I kept walking by, and I happened to look back, and then he was turned, now facing me, continuing to walk, just still staring and not waving or doing anything that would indicate it's like, hello, I'm on my balcony enjoying the evening. So I wanted to get his attention because I thought, that's creepy. He's weird. What's he doing? Yeah. So I go, babe, look. And when I went to turn around to look, gone. Nobody was on the balcony. So that was my paranormal. Now, it could have just been a really fast patron of the hotel dressed in weird clothes. The third haunted location that we love in Old Town San Diego is the El Campo Santo Cemetery. It is just a cute little old cemetery built in 1849, and only about 477 of the original graves are visible now, because it used to be a bigger graveyard, but they had to make room for the city.
They built the city kind of around it, so they pushed it into a smaller and smaller area.
And they even built over a lot of the graves. So as you're walking around Old Town, kind of keep in mind when you see these little medallions on the street and on the actual road.
Those are grave markers.
Those are grave markers to where they had to build over graves. They didn't even move the person. They just kind of built the streets and businesses over it.
It's creepy.
So, yeah. So there's a lot of paranormal. There's a paranormal activity, according to people, with their cars. If you've parked over one of those grave sites, that their cars' alarms go off, their cars don't start, like weird things. The kids also like to go exploring there, and I'll let Kevin tell that story.
Okay, so we had this ghost detector on our phone, So there is a little girl gravestone, and there is a little girl above it, but how would they know?
But there's definitely a figure there.
They also had a little ghost communicator app on my phone one year, and they liked to go through there and ask questions, and they got some responses.
Are you hunting for something?
Yeah, this is what I'm doing. Ghost murder.
What does the real mean?
What are you looking for?
What does real mean, Mom?
Ghost.
Disease, heart, cough in Devon, stroke jumped. Game, Mandy, Riel.
So for number 4, we're moving up the coast a little bit to Long Beach, California, where the Queen Mary has been docked since the 1960s.
Oh my gosh, it's one of our favorite places. Again, I guess that kind of is a theme. The most haunted places we've been to are also some of our most favorite places we go to. And you've probably seen on our channel, if you've been around and been a part of our family for a while, that we like to go to the Scottish Festival on the Queen Mary every year. It was actually built in the 30s in Scotland. It was a luxury cruise liner during the 30s and until the World War II started.
Before World War II, it's an interesting ship because it actually set the world record for the fastest transit across the Atlantic. And it successfully made over 1,001 transatlantic voyages.
It was used until the World War II, and then it was recruited as the Grey Ghost. It was all painted gray, and it was a troop ship during the war, and then it came back in its glory and resumed its days as a luxury liner for 20 more years before it made its final dock in Long Beach. Thank goodness we got it, because we get to visit it now whenever we want to, because it's a historical floating hotel that also happens to have a few ghost stories as well. This one has also been considered one of the top 10 most haunted places in America as well. A lot of history, a lot of ghost stories, tons of, you can do a ghost walk, you can do all those things. We like to go there just for the good time and fun.
Well, you feel like you're on a ship, like it's true to the style, the Art Deco style of the 1930s and 40s. It's you feel like you've stepped back in time, very much like we were saying about the Cosmopolitan. So even like if you stay aboard the ship, you get to stay in like original style cabins that the people that took the liner in the 30s.
And now
it's really cool.
You can stay in one of the most haunted cabins in the ship again. For a long time they had that closed off. It was the hub of a lot of paranormal activity. Now they've remodeled it. It's room B340 if you ever want to stay there. It comes with a Ouija board, crystal ball, and some tarot cards. The stories go back to the 60s in this room. And then it was closed off for a long time, but they decided let's have some fun, right?
Spice it up a little bit.
Let's spice it up a little bit.
I want to stay there so bad. That's like my number one.
We'll stay there soon. What's really cool about the Queen Mary too is that they embrace the haunted tales and the haunted nature of the ship, and they have placards of ghost sightings and stories all over the ship. So they're like little Easter eggs that you can walk around the ship and read and learn more about some of the haunted stories.
I believe there was 16 crew member, 2 GI, and about 31 passengers that have all died on that ship in the history of the ship. So, I mean, there's a lot of ample opportunity for some lingering energy.
There's also the engine room, too. Isn't that the most haunted place on the ship?
The engine room is one of the most haunted places on the ship. The first class pool has been also a lot of activity there.
So, number 5, we are going from Southern California across the desert to the city of Tombstone, Arizona, which is not technically a ghost town because people still live there, but it's ghost towny.
I mean, it's an old West town.
A lot of you have maybe seen the movie of Tombstone and are aware of the OK Corral.
Throw up your hands, boys. We're here to take your guns. Oh, that's not what I want. Shoot me. I want to fight.
And maybe you even know about the next place, which is the Birdcage Theater. From 1881 to 1894, the Birdcage Theater was this really happening place, one of the most happening theaters and nighttime spots and gambling halls. The Birdcage Theater is still a museum. As you walk through, you can see the hundreds of bullet holes that are still embedded and located around the property. And there were 16 bloody gunfights that occurred.
It functioned a lot of things, not just a theater. It was also a gambling hall. It was a pleasure house. It was.
I think the front was a saloon.
There was a saloon. There was even a barber like shop set up, so men could do a one-stop shop for all their needs. Also got a lot of paranormal activity, and Kevin actually had quite an experience at the Birdcage Theater.
So I shook the door. My mom told me not to, so then I shook it again, and then the door shook back. You couldn't get in, so it had to be a ghost.
The door jiggled back very aggressively at us, and nobody was on the other side of that door.
What's cool about visiting the Birdcage Theater is it feels like you're in an old, musty, dusty place that very well could be haunted.
That was our top 5, but we're going to throw in a bonus here on the West Coast. Ooh. We recently visited the Flavel House in Astoria, Oregon. We were just touring it as a historic Victorian mansion on the coast, not expecting really like ghost stories. Now, this isn't really marketed as like a haunted place. It's just the historic home of the sea captain George Flavel. It was pretty much a happy home with a family. They all lived there until they till their deaths way into the 1900s. In one of the salons, I was filming and I caught an orb visually, like not just on the camera, but I saw an orb. And it was coming in the room very quickly, and I just wanted to see. I said hi, just to be silly. I go, hi, and the orb stopped. It stopped and paused, and then slowly floated past me until it disappeared. It was a really cool experience because if it was dust, my husband likes to claim a lot of my orbs are, it stopped when I said hello, so...
It's magic.
Dad, you're wrong here.
Dust doesn't say
Who
hi.
knows?
Dust doesn't say.
All right, let's.
H-I.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed some of our favorite haunted places, and let us know if you visited these places yourself or if you have any of your favorite haunted places that you'd like to share with us. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button,
And notification button.
and the notification bell. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe and never miss another minute of the fun. And of course, we offer detailed destination guides and travel tips over at our blog, HotMamaTravel.com, to make your next family adventure hot.